I'm willing to be charitable and assume that it's coming from a place of him not like fully researching this stuff. But it seems like he's researched it extensively on one side. Oh boy. Moist Critical has officially taken to the H3H3 versus iDubbbz lawsuit. Now, you guys already know some of the details. Ethan Klein, H3H3, former fair use precedent setting. Ethan Klein, former podcast co-host of mine, who's been on a tear, basically trying to wrap up all of the people that he feels he's been wronged by with frivolous lawsuits as a vexatious litigant, has done it again. He's done a whole video, or he's launched another lawsuit, this time against iDubbbz, former friend of Ethan Klein as well, because iDubbbz posted a statement that was allegedly defamatory of Ethan Klein, a statement not from iDubbbz, mind you, a statement from Destiny, Sexpestiny, who once alleged that Ethan had molested his own children and that Child Protective Services should be called to his home. I don't know what kind of stance Charlie took in this, in this piece that he did, but I do find it odd that they didn't cover the Denims lawsuit. I do find it odd that they didn't cover the other instances of litigation. But let's see what he had to say. Sure, we'll watch the Anthony Fantano one too. This loser has lost his lawsuit. Oh, that's just about the Denims one.
I just heard about the H3 versus iDubbbz defamation lawsuit and spent the last 3 or so hours.
Charlie hates you, low-key. He doesn't. I've talked to him behind the scenes post Kayagate, and I don't think he hates me.
I'm seeing people say that I refuse to cover these kind of things for a variety of different reasons. I'm ignoring it, this and that. I don't know how many more times I need to say this. I am just really not online that much these days. The things I do hear about come from my friends sending them to me, or when I stream chat telling me about them, putting them on my radar. So with that out of the way, I did spend like the last 3 hours learning about this defamation lawsuit between H3 and iDubbbz, because that did sound pretty concerning. Because there's always been like an unwritten rule on the internet, not just YouTube, where if there's beef online, it stays online. And you handle it online without, going over that threshold, the event horizon of trying to use litigation to silence your opponent or something like that. That had always been etched in the stone tablets, the 10 commandments of online discourse.
It's true.
And now all of a sudden, I'm hearing about H3 suing iDubbbz for defamation. So obviously I wanted to hear more about that. And after diving in, hitting that cannonball into the pool, I learned he has a lot of active lawsuits. I think it's 5, maybe 6 against other streamers and YouTubers. So it's a bit of a rampage he's been on. I knew about one before all this, which was against the snark community. That I did hear about. And that one...
Snark community.
Made a lot of sense to me, actually. The snark community, from what I recall, was doing some diabolical, like...
Yeah, this is like... Look, listen. Are there annoying people on the internet that are up people's asses all the goddamn time? Absolutely. Okay? Ethan Klein operates a snark community against myself. I don't think any of Ethan Klein's lawsuits are even in any way, shape, or form remotely defensible. He has obviously postured it and positioned it in a way where it comes across as defensible to other content creators by claiming a litany of different insane things that he claims were happening because people were gang stalking him and I don't know, like going after his family and like sending CPS and sending skulls to his house or whatever. I don't know the veracity of these claims, but I do know one thing. He has used that as a counter to every single goddamn thing. He stubs his motherfucking toe. He goes, oh, it's the snark community, which, by the way, he says I'm a part of. All of the people that he has actively sued, he has claimed were responsible without any evidence whatsoever for sending Child Protective Services to his house. Do you have evidence that H3 Snark called CPS on you?
Did I say that?
Random anonymous Redditors?
Did I say that?
To sending skulls to his house. Like, it's an incredible method. Meanwhile, I'm literally being prosecuted by the goddamn federal government, allegedly, And these guys are celebrating that decision. And at no point did I ever turn around and say, oh, Ethan Klein is the reason why I have a subpoena from the government. It's ridiculous. Just because they even celebrate that decision by the federal government, which they have openly, which is also disgusting, doesn't mean that they had anything to do with it. But it's ridiculous to be like, yeah, I'm suing anonymous Redditors on the internet because I believe that they're coordinating like a mass harassment campaign against me. And therefore, like, in order for a lot of these people to understand, yeah, he is a snarker of mine. He is, which is, whatever. It is what it is. But in order for a lot of these people who have been in support of these decisions, in support of Ethan's vexatious litigant status, in order for them to come to terms with how frivolous these lawsuits are, I should probably start doing the exact same thing so they can be on board with the opposition. All of a sudden, they'll probably understand. Can you imagine if I were going after random anonymous accounts over and over again, trying to create this conspiracy, claiming that they were the reasons why, they were responsible for why, I was getting pursued by the federal government. Oh, I got banned by the United Kingdom because of Ethan Klein and anonymous Redditors. Can you imagine if I tried to launch lawsuits against anonymous Redditors and try to dox them, going after Reddit mods, and then on top of that, going after all of these people that have done like a million articles, a million YouTube videos on me? In many instances, genuinely actually slandering me too, defaming me actively, claiming I offer material support to terrorist groups.
I'm not going to talk to Hassan. I'm not going to go and be like, okay, let's explain what it is. I'm watching the clip. I'm not going to explain this. I'm not going to have somebody lie to me. I have no interest and not even a slight desire to have any conversation about it whatsoever. You are expressing material support for a terrorist organization. You do so on a daily basis, and that's it. It's literally that simple.
Material support for terrorism is a literal crime. You are definitionally slandering me and claiming that I'm engaging in a literal crime. If I were to go after every single YouTuber, half of the YouTube commentary sphere would receive lawsuits. And then they would be reminded of how up and ridiculous this is, because then they would make videos about how silly it is to go after people, to go after people that are critical of you, that are holding you accountable. I mean, I've jokingly referenced suing more Pegasus, and every single one of these people that had made YouTube videos about, every single one of these people that had defended Ethan Klein's ridiculous lawsuits, claiming that it was actually the utmost, claiming that these lawsuits were like unironically maintaining the integrity of the commentary sphere, not realizing that if those lawsuits were actually pursued, that there would be a new precedent that would destroy fair use. Guess what? Even when I jokingly referenced it, every single one of those people that were in defense of Ethan's lawsuits turned around and started railing on me, saying, oh my God, Hassan can't take criticism at all. Maybe it's not a joke. Yeah, it's not a joke. I maintain the position that maybe more Pegasus is not, maybe he might be receiving a lawsuit or legal action sometime soon. But like, my point is this. Ethan actually did sue people, as Charlie here is openly recognizing. He did. He actually sued, and he even destroyed the livelihoods of Casey Tron, and even got a default on the Morgan case as well. All of those cases were frivolous, but the people that he was litigating, the people that he was suing, did not have the financial backing to pursue a long and costly litigation process. So they had to default, or they had to actually concede to the unbelievable demands that he was making. Demands such as an ISIS hostage-style video that he forced Casey Tron to read, that the very same people in the commentary sphere claimed was valid, claimed was awesome. Yeah, he's accused multiple people of CPS. He said different streamers, Redditors, and chatters have all sent CPS to his house without any proof, apparently. You literally ask him if he has any proof. The snark community sent CPS, and he said, no, I have never said that. Yeah, remember that shit? Remember when I talked to him in person in that disastrous, I guess you could call it a debate if you want to call it that, where I was like, what proof, what evidence do you have that like myself and all these other people have actually sent child protective services to your house? Like, where is this coming from? Because he was claiming everyone and their mothers was responsible for calling child protective services. I didn't even know that shit was happening, and they were saying I was responsible for it. he genuinely, sincerely, in the most like schizophrenic way, thinks that there is a network, a coalition of people that are in constant collaboration with one another that's like actively trying to ruin his life, not realizing that there is a coalition of people that are actively ruining his life. It's just that those people are in support of Ethan Klein, or at least seemingly in support of Ethan Klein, using him and his financial status to pursue people that they don't like on the internet, to constantly goad him into litigation after litigation, telling him that he's doing the right thing over and over again, telling him that he actually should pursue these people and bury them in financial troubles through costly litigation. Those are the people who are actively going into his community, acting as though they're lifelong fans, and using him like a lolcal weapon. But of course, it's impossible to get him to understand this because he's far too paranoid at this point.
Harassing, stalking stuff, sending CPS. I remember that, and like human skulls. Those things I recalled from like the snark community. So it made sense that he would pursue litigation there, because that is highly illegal psychopath behavior. So that one I remember, and that one made sense.
Like, I don't even disagree with the premise if there was any veracity to these claims. If there was any proof of like coordinated messaging where people were just like, yes, let's go, let's send Child Protective Services to his house, then yeah, it's valid. The problem is none of his lawsuits have anything to do with that. He really thinks he's going to crack this case. He thinks there's like all these people on the internet are all out to get him, and they're trying to actively ruin his life, not realizing that the only person ruining Ethan Klein's life is Ethan Klein. He was accusing everyone of CPS. Only when Denham said he's suing him, he retracted.
I want to address something from Denham's correction demand in her letter. The letter claims I falsely stated that Denham's herself filed the preceding CPS report, or that Denham's caused others to do so. The letter also states on March 11th, I acknowledged Denham's had denounced herself or anyone in her community making contact with CPS. Let me be clear. I have never claimed that Denham's called CPS. I have never implied that Denham's called CPS. If my statements were interpreted as stating this, I want to correct the record and make it clear that I do not believe that Denham's called CPS. Obviously, moronic, idiotic, stupid. Let me also address the point in the letter that I claimed Denham caused others to call CPS. I did not state, and I do not believe Denham's made a direct call to action to her audience to contact CPS, obviously.
Yeah, this is lawyer speak because he got hit.
Right?
He got hit with a CND, I assume, under threat of a lawsuit while appearing to read a letter from his lawyer. Ethan Klein attempts to formally retract 3 defamatory claims against Denham's. Ethan admits Denham's didn't call CPS, didn't denounce those that called CPS, never made a call to action for another to call CPS. Except he literally did do that, for the record. He did. And when he says like, oh, I'm doing this as I'm waging this just war against snark, that's what he's referencing. And a lot of people have deluded themselves into believing that that is the truth. That like all of these people that Ethan Klein is actually going after at some point harbored people or directly called CPS themselves. But he has a lot of money from being one of the OG major YouTubers and also having at the time very successful clothing brand at the peak of YouTube, at the peak of like when YouTubers were basically printing money. And he is literally just using that war chest to dunk on like 100 concurrent Twitch streamers, man. It's ridiculous. It's like totally ridiculous.
Talking about these other ones, granted, I haven't dove too deep into all of those because this is clearly a lot. I was mainly focused on the defamation one, but man, Ethan Klein has become like the Nintendo of YouTubers. He is extraordinarily litigious. Anyway, enough blabbering. What started this defamation lawsuit was this iDub stream.
Okay, this is my watermark for the stream. I don't want any of my content being stolen. Got another Kalshi ad? I'm sorry, Fazium. We're all getting Kalshi ads these days. It's okay. So I do want to say I don't agree with what's being said in this comment here. But I'm putting it on screen because I think it should be addressed because it's a big, bold accusation that's very up.
It is very up. And
yeah, it's like very clear what iDubbbz is doing. It's twofold. One, at that point, Ethan was just like constantly clipping his streams to like dunk on him. So he thought that this would be a defensive shield against Ethan, most likely clipping his streams. And two, it is a defamatory statement. It's a ridiculously defamatory statement. And yet Ethan was not even remotely invested in addressing that defamatory statement at all, and instead did the unthinkable and went after iDubbbz for literally disavowing the defamatory statement. He literally said she did CPS with timestamp.
Attention.
Bro, you were so smug. She did CPS. Remember that? Okay, good.
Right now, one's a little bit more.
Yeah, that was his rallying cry for the longest time. She did CPS. He did CPS. They all did CPS. Everybody and their mothers. Everybody that has ever criticized Ethan Klein has been responsible for calling Child Protective Services on his children. It's ridiculous.
It's despicable that he would think it's a good idea to post that there while knowingly aware that it's not true. So the message isn't Ian's. This comes from Destiny, and he found this screenshot and he kept it on screen for a very long time. And he said he didn't agree with it, but thinks it needs to be addressed because it's so f***ed up. It is a terrible stream. Just giving it to you real blunt, real raw. It is no good. And I'm no stranger to getting shit-talked by iDubbbz. He has said some very nasty, very untrue things about me on his broadcast as well. But what is being reported in regards to this stream isn't exactly telling the whole story.
Wait, what? I don't even know what iDubbbz has said about Charlie, but that's crazy, bro.
So the message isn't Ian's. This comes from Destiny, and he found this...
Yeah, why is Ethan not suing Destiny? That's a real question. I think we all know why. Partially because Ethan is aligned with Destiny. Ethan has been utilizing the Destiny community to launch attacks against his enemies on the internet. They're aligned together on the issue of Israel. That's another huge deal. Okay, that's another big part of the puzzle here. Sometimes it's a lot simpler than you think. This story is very simple. That was a brief moment where they were fighting one another. I think it was because Ethan had implied that Destiny was a pedophile because he's going through that court case right now where it came out that he was trying to procure child sexual abuse material from an underage, from a minor, in exchange for revenge porn that he was sending out to people without the consent of the other parties involved. He's still actively in that court case because he's getting sued by the victims who he distributed the sex videos of, right? And Ethan was obviously shitting on him over it. And in exchange for that, Destiny did what Destiny always does. He turned on one of his collaborators, Ethan in this circumstance, even though literally his co-host of his podcast, Dan Saltman, again, another person who is unbelievably pro-Israel, or at least utilizing the pro-Israel advocacy as a way to take care of his enemies, is a funder, is one of the last remaining sponsors of Ethan Klein's podcast.
It's not a big thing, but it's, you guys may have noticed we got a button sponsor. Look at it. Oh, wait, my glasses. Redact.dev, guys. They are our button sponsor.
Now, when I first heard of this lawsuit, I was reading a bunch about it, but I wanted more information, like, directly associated with it to make sure I wasn't getting, like, fraudulent or misleading shit fed to me. So I reached out to someone whom I know is on the H3 team, and Ethan did hear about that, so he did talk directly about me on his show and challenge me on a few things, and I did eventually get to talk directly with Ethan, and I shared my...
I wish he would have done this to me when he was doing the Kayage story, but hey, you know, that's besides the point at this point. You know, bygones. I let bygones be bygones.
Full perspective on things and the problems I had around it and my concerns, and got his perspective on things to see if there's any misunderstandings and such. Ultimately, I don't think we fully saw eye to eye on this, which... You know, that's going to happen. I fully understand that this is a very emotionally charged subject for him after everything him and his family went through with snarkers in particular. I know.
What the f*** does iDubbbz have to do with this shit? This is literally the most Israel-coded story of all time, dude. It's literally but the snarkers. Snarkers have become the but Hamas of Ethan's universe. Do you have evidence that H3 Snark called CPS on you?
Did I say
like
that?
Random anonymous Redditors?
Did I say that?
Oh, sorry. we're just gonna do we're gonna do a 8-front war, or in this circumstance a 5-front legal war with anyone and everyone around us because snarkers call CPS on us. Like, what do you mean? What the fuck does that have to do with anybody else?
That the CPS and the human skulls incident are like a legitimately traumatizing thing, like the fraudulent CPS call. Like, I get how inexcusable and abhorrent that is. I really do.
Yeah, imagine if you got the Hassan treatment, commentary, community, Reddit, mainstream media, politicians. We are babying this 40-year-old multi-millionaire with potentially upwards of $100 million in his bank account that he's using to legally go after much smaller channels with no financial backing whatsoever because CPS. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. It's crazy, man. What is this like this babying that this guy... How many lawsuits is he allowed to have under his belt until people go, okay, maybe this is a bridge too far? Like, how many random people that he is annoyed with on the internet that he is just like trying to bury under a mountain of paperwork with costly litigation until people go, maybe that's not appropriate. Only Diaz said to call CPS, by the way. Yeah. Yeah, the only person, ironically enough, out of all these people that Ethan Klein is suing that has actually openly defended calling CPS on Ethan Klein's children is Sex Pestany.
I hope CPS takes his kids. I'll say it. I do. And I hope they cry about it. And then CPS come for my kid. And then CPS can take Dan's kids. You know what? All of our children at the end of the day will just be fostered by Child Protective Services. Okay? And that'll just be... And then we can all relieve ourselves. He's just going to be a rehash of every other video made. God, it's so crazy how this... retard, as he's spamming on Instagram and coughing and dying of whatever diseases he has, is telling me like, oh, Destiny, I used to like you so much and you need help and blah blah blah. It's like the exact shit that Hassan was doing to him. Good me.
Destiny video couldn't be complete without random Hassan mention, of course.
But I just truly don't believe that this lawsuit is in any way, shape, or form helpful to anyone outside of the lawyers. They're smiling ear to ear. They're salivating right now, literally drooling with a bib on. But it's harmful to, I think, literally everyone involved and does have potential ramifications for others way outside of it. I have never and will never be a fan of extreme litigation, and I have always been vocally advocating against creators going that nuclear path, and I always will. Of course, there are cases where it is understandable. Like I said, going after the snarkers that sent a fraudulent CPS thing through and the skulls and stuff, that one I do understand.
Bro, but what does that have to do with iDubbbz? I mean, where is the veracity or where is the genuine proof that there is, again, a network of like anonymous accounts that Ethan Klein has targeted and identified as being responsible for calling Child Protective Services on him? I don't even think there is any proof whatsoever. Ethan certainly doesn't have that. I don't know why he keeps bringing this up as though it has anything to do with iDubbbz anyway.
But this one, I could never support that. And I just can't see the real just cause behind it. And I think it is a terrible example for other creators in the space to follow, where maybe they believe that even though this is about like a Canadian defamation lawsuit, well, maybe they can try their luck in the States. It's not like defamatory lawsuits are exclusive to Canada. There's better protections here, no doubt, but still, if they take from this that maybe the way to fight battles online is to go the litigious route, well, then it's just a huge mess across the board. I think it is just a...
Yeah, bro, I'm telling you, if you want the entire commentary sphere to finally pay attention to this shit, I know the solution. I have to sue one of my, thousands of insane haters on the internet. Here's E denying that to you that he never said anything.
That harassment, and you pulled it up on your stream.
Do you have evidence that H3 Snark called CPS on you?
Did I say that?
Random anonymous Redditors?
Did I say that?
Wait, what's the...
I said they're primarily responsible for harassing me.
Who called CPS?
What the fuck? So, I don't know. Did I claim they did? You're dodging, bro. You are absolutely dodging.
Ethan,
you claim your community has nothing to do with the harassment, yet you were browsing H3 Snark. Now, let me ask you this, Hassan. How many times...
Yeah. So what's all this lawsuit about? I mean, here he is admitting that he has no evidence whatsoever. Should have ended there, right? Seems to me like you got an unfathomably rich guy who's just mad that people have turned on him on the internet. And instead of trying to figure out why that took place and maybe changing his goddamn behavior, he's decided to bury all of the people that have dared to criticize him under costly litigation while simultaneously claiming falsely that they were responsible for child protective services being called to his house.
This way of engaging with discourse, I think, has always been frowned upon, but for some reason is starting to get some more support behind it, and I just fully disagree with it. I think that this is genuinely just a, like, big threat across the board to just the entire space. Like, if discourse becomes, fearful of, like, litigation flying back and forth, it's going to stifle a lot of voices and stifle some very, like, legitimate criticism down the line. It's just not something I want to see become commonplace. Now, I did also have a brief conversation with iDubbbz about this as well, letting him know that this really is a horrible thing that he did to try and make his point. And he agreed. He said that it was a legitimately awful thing that he did to make that point, and that...
Dog, but the offending party is not even being mentioned here. No one is saying there isn't an offense being made, but it's not iDubbbz that is the offending party. It's Destiny.
It was a genuine, sincere apology that he was issuing and how regretful he was from it. So I did have a conversation with both sides of this to make sure I had like a full, clear picture of where everything was and what this was all about.
I don't know how it works in Canada, if the complaint is public or what. But if you look at it, he emphasizes throughout that he does think it's a serious accusation that needs to be investigated and that he doesn't think it's a joke, right? Now, I
don't know how ridiculous Canadian defamation laws are, but like there is literally no standing. Like this shit would be laughed out of court in the United States of America. That's why he didn't file this in California. He'd get hit with a slap so fast his face would spin.
People are like, well, why don't you sue Destiny for saying it? Well, Destiny made it immediately. First of all, this is a comment from Destiny, like made in passing. Ian put it on his screen for 2 hours during his main broadcast. Destiny made it clear that he was not being serious, right?
Did he? Oh, okay then.
Pretty much immediately after writing it. Like nobody was like, yo, Destiny made this claim that Ethan molested his children. Oh shit. No, people knew that when Destiny said it was like, he was just being a dickhead, or I mean, he was being a giant piece of shit, right? But he immediately afterwards made it clear that he didn't actually think that. But Ian took that, and just because you're showing what someone else said doesn't make it not defamation, because you're showing essentially this accusation bare of context and also kind of saying that you think it's true, right?
Now, after hearing Ethan explain that, I actually made...
Wait, first of all, no, the context of it was that he's pissed off that you were calling him a pedophile. Was Destiny joking here too? Because it wasn't a one-off. Yeah, Destiny's version of kidding, great excuse to be petty pussy to sue somebody else. Yeah, here he is. Again, okay, never mind. I take back what I said about Ethan. Maybe he is a pedo.
Oh, conclusion. I don't think Ethan is a pedophile. Well, I'm like 85% sure he's not a pedophile.
What is this?
He has to tie back to me. And Hassan has had a lot of success in trying to tie people back to me. Like I said, I think this is why I call Ethan a pedophile all the time. We his kids or whatever. Is because Ethan gave in because he's a spineless hack to this type of attack where he's like, no, I'm not like Destiny. Destiny doesn't get me talking about.
Incredible stuff. Again, it just doesn't make any sense. It's so stupid. It's so unbelievably stupid that even the average person, when they find out the details, go, wait, what the f-?
But I don't recall at any point throughout it him actually trying to argue that it's a legitimate thing or trying to convince his audience that it's real. So I know one of the big things is that it came from iDubbbz, who has actually met Ethan and his family. So there's like this air of credibility around him saying something like this, but that's just not true. He's not even trying to say anything about it is credible, even outright says that it's not, that he doesn't agree with it. So he's not trying to present it as a real argument based on, any of his experiences knowing Ethan and his family.
Also, I will say that I think Ethan Klein is terrified of this guy. So it's just kind of like legit. It is to me, it's super funny. that he has so much smoke for everyone that he thinks he can bully, but the person that he's terrified, he just keeps very overtly running from. And it's like, yeah.
By the way, Ethan is literally suing iDubbbz for that reason because iDubbbz said the truth there. That's literally it.
Now, while Ethan is 100% correct that iDubbbz says that this is a big allegation that Ethan should be addressing, he's not doing it earnestly, or at least I don't think he was. It's actually really kind of hard to tell. The whole segment was awful, and the point he was trying to make was really dog shittily done. But what he's trying to say is that clip right there at the end where...
It's so funny because Destiny has literally operated, we know, Destiny has literally operated alongside Dan Stalkman, Ethan Klein's biggest sponsor, a mass harassment Discord server where they doxed my whole family. We know this. I've shown this on stream before. So like everything that Moist Critical is claiming Ethan is actually pursuing litigation over, I have direct evidence that these dickheads were doing.
I learned from them because I learned from them because they spent so much time fucking over Ethan Klein with saying his dog was fed cheese. And I was just like, you know what? That's a good strategy. Let's fucking do that shit.
We also know, and it's been written about in Bloomberg, that Dan Stalkman tried to destroy all ads on Twitch in an effort to try and get me banned. So the level of coordinated, sophisticated smear campaigns reached a level of actual financial penalties, right? Where they lied, where they straight up lied to thousands of advertisers about how their ads were running next to my stream, and they lied about what I was saying on those streams.
We just got an ad from Jif Peanut Butter. It's time to let Jif Peanut Butter know that they are supporting a platform that openly protects and promotes terrorist propagandists like Hassan, and that the CEO has said he's his favorite streamer. Oh my God!
Oh,
How many
wait,
fucking
we're in a
ads?
little bit of a situation here now.
This is just a clip.
We're on Google.
Yeah, there's not much I can do about that, unfortunately. Why is Google advertising on Twitch? That's
Yeah,
so
why?
stupid.
Because they're not threatened by them.
I guess.
Yeah.
Does Google need ads?
Like, it's incredible how they lied to them about how the platform had banned, Twitch, the platform, had actually banned all Israelis from the platform. That was a direct lie, by the way. That was straight up a lie. And when Dan Saltman realized that he had mass blasted thousands and thousands of emails directly to sponsors, directly to major advertisers on the platform, lying to them, you know what he said? Oh, well, I guess we'll delete the VOD where I recognize this. I guess we'll delete the VOD where, I admit to doing this. Yeah, that's not what happened at all. Wait, really? What do you mean that's not what happened at all? Not only did I cover it, but there's video evidence.
Like, the thing is, I sent this to the editor, and I said this was incorrect, and that I've never said this.
Okay. You're sure that your emails don't have the...
Yes.
You sure?
Yes. You can go to the site and click the button. It's been the same. Why would I ever say that they suspended Israeli users? I know that's not true. No one would ever say that.
Moments later.
Your fucking dumb email does say that.
No way.
Even more troubling, Twitch previously suspended all Israeli accounts for a year without public acknowledgement or explanation.
Suspended creation. All right, well, never mind then. All right, we'll just trim that part out of the VOD.
Now, this doesn't change the fact that what iDubbbz did here is completely awful. To try and make this point using that kind of comment with something as monstrously evil as that is just so f***ing low.
I disagree.
It is. But I don't believe that's how Ethan is necessarily...
I disagree. I 100% disagree. I don't think so. I think this is just moral posturing. What do you mean? iDubbbz is not in agreement with the comment whatsoever. I think it's perfectly valid to use such a severely defamatory statement like that one, which ironically enough, Destiny's made about me as well, because he's a psycho. If you're a litigious person, you should apply that litigious nature to the actual offending party rather than whoever you actually want to punish, and punish financially. Not because you're going to be able to win that court case. It's not about victory in this circumstance. It's about just, costly litigation, burying people under a mountain of paperwork.
Explaining it to everyone, where iDubbbz is really, believing in this. iDubbbz came over to my house, he met my family, now he's going out there saying these things.
If Charlie knew half the gross shit Ethan Klein has said about Ian and Anissa, I don't think he'd be doing this. Ethan Klein directly has stalked and mass harassed iDubbbz and Anissa. Directly. For months on end. This litigation is an extension of that project. Ethan Klein has also called people that he doesn't like Nazis. Photoshop photos.
Meanwhile, she's pouring kosher salt all over her Jewish bagels. Let me get my Jewish salt and pour it all over my Jewish bagels while being... No, and I'm not saying she was anti-Semitic in this post, but she is in real life. So here it is. So I said, I was unfortunately bamboozled by my own people. The meme I previously shared was a forgery. She never wrote Jewish salt. Here's the original one. Sorry, Anissa.
Oh, that's nice.
And the text
says... that's not the original.
No, it is. It says, the text says, I tried a new recipe.
Something in the background.
Let me read the text. Tried a new recipe with active dry yeast and maple syrup in the dough. And it's a huge improvement. Tastiest bagel I've made so far. So that's what she wrote.
Who added Mein Kampf?
That's the original, bro. I don't know what you're talking about.
I didn't even see that.
I think a lot of people didn't see it.
No, I didn't.
Oh shit.
Oh man.
That's fuck. I'm sorry, but that shit's funny.
On his Instagram stories to imply that they're Nazis, he's done it to me too. He has called people that he does not like pedophiles, including Dan Clancy, the CEO of Twitch. Yeah. Here it is.
He's extremely scummy because he did meet his kids and everything, and now he's putting a comment out there like that. That is very scummy, but he's not using it to try and make this claim that Ethan is those things. He's trying to use that to show that...
Dude, who's the scumbag here? Is it iDubbbz? Or is it the guy who's been harassing iDubbbz and Anissa for months? I'm sorry, dude. Come on, Charlie. I know everybody hates Ian and myself and Morgan and Casey Tron on the internet, okay? But come on, dude. I mean, he's taken stronger stances in the past. Defending trans people. He's taken stronger stances in the past. Criticizing Israel. I guess in the commentary sphere, being even in any way, shape, or form remotely in defense of the truth, which happens to side with iDubbbz or happens to side with Denims, is worse than all of those things combined. But it's crazy. I don't know. Maybe this is a sincere opinion. I'm willing to be charitable. And I'm willing to be charitable and assume that it's coming from a place of him not like fully researching this stuff. But it seems like he's researched it extensively on one side. So he has tremendous amount of insight into, the grievances that Ethan Klein has experienced or claims to have experienced, even though it doesn't tie back. So even after hearing Ethan's side, he still doesn't side with Ethan. So that in and of itself should show you how unbalanced this whole predicament is. Yeah, remember when he got caught at a poker tournament, zooming in on a picture of Anissa and then screenshotting it and saving it?
Congratulations to the Ecklers.
We're ready for either
baby
one.
number one.
Oh, everything's neutral.
God, yeah.
Got both names ready. Yeah. Yep.
Congratulations to the Ecklers.
We're ready for either
baby
one.
number one.
Oh, everything's neutral.
God, yeah.
Got both names ready. Yeah. Yep.
That's so funny.
Now, Ethan also addresses why he's not suing Destiny as well, and he's saying because Destiny cleared up that he wasn't being serious right away. I don't understand that. I'm not going to lie. That's not making sense to me. Can't wrap my noodle around it. It's not computing. I think it is a
That's a
very
lie, by the way. That's a lie. He never cleared it up. He never literally... He might have now. He might have now, but at the time, he certainly was very pissed off, and he's a very vindictive person, and he lies about people all the goddamn time.
What about that brothel shit? The brothel shit is probably the closest I've come to being bad faith about his time, but it was because he accused me and my fan base of all being Nazis. Fuck him, okay? Technically, everything I said was true, okay? In a very technical sense, I don't think I said Hassan fucked up mine. I don't know, but he did. But I'm just saying, everything I did say, I'm pretty sure was technically true. But I mean, like, obviously I shouldn't. I was angry.
So no, at the time, he kept doubling down, tripling down. Yeah, here's another post about Ethan making a disgusting sexual comment about iDubbbz and Anissa. I mean,
being loser behavior.
He has a litany of shit like this. That's why I'm saying, like, oh, iDubbbz is a scumbag is a crazy thing to say. iDubbbz is a scumbag for showing someone else's defamatory claims in an effort to draw home a point that Ethan will never go after them because he's financially involved with that group.
Redact.dev, guys. They are our Bunton sponsor.
And also ideologically involved with that group because he uses, or he thinks he uses, Destiny's community as a cyber stalking operation to harass his internet enemies, is literally the point that iDubbbz is making. What he's doing there is nowhere near as bad as like half the shit that Ethan says on a daily basis about Ian and about Anissa. Here is one of them.
What a dumbass. Can't believe I felt bad for you. And by the way, Anissa reached out. She wants to meet at the Motel 6 tonight at 11.
Excuse me?
Because I'm going to fuck him for her? Because she's the cuck? No good?
Okay, Ian?
Him.
Right.
Anissa reached out to me.
You know, the first time that you made the Anissa the cuck joke, it hit really good.
Well,
and I feel like each subsequent one we're getting further and further.
What was wrong with...
I like that as soon as I started talking about Ethan and all this other shit going on, immediately the weirdo Destiny fans come in here to be like, damn, Hamas. Calling me Hamas and then saying I got fat. Nice. Thanks, guys. That'll do it this time.
With that? I thought that
just sounded weird. Kind of creepy.
Yeah. Here's Dean Saltman reading the Bloomberg article and finding out Saltman did in fact lie about those emails. Here it is.
The thing is, I sent this to the editor, and I said this was incorrect, and that I've never said this.
Okay. You're sure that your emails don't have the...
Yes.
You sure?
Yes. You can go to the site and click the button.
This is from the Bloomberg article talking about their sophisticated troll ops, their sophisticated operation to slander, smear me, and also smear and defame the platform of Twitch with actual fake statements that they mass distributed to thousands of advertiser emails. Okay, in an effort to try to get advertisers to pull out from the platform Twitch, they went and mass distributed lies that they openly acknowledge in this video. The reason why I'm bringing this up is because these guys also financially support Ethan. Dan Stockman owns the company Redact.dev. It's a major sponsor, one of the last remaining sponsors of Ethan Klein's podcast. There's a reason. If you were wondering why Ethan doesn't sue Destiny for making this defamatory statement, it's because he's terrified of losing his last remaining ally, his last remaining ideological ally that he can use against his enemies. It's a mutually beneficial relationship that they have where they mass stalk and do all of the things that Ethan claims is being done to him, to others that he has declared enemies.
Been the same. Why would I ever say that they suspended Israeli users? I know that's not true. No one would ever say that.
Yeah, except you did. You knowingly lied about it.
So what they're saying right here, I feel like it's just slander, right? Well, no, libel. Libel is written. I've never said this, and they're saying that I have said this. You're furiously tapping over there.
I'm just checking the email. Double checking.
I did. I sent an email to the editor, and I said I demanded a retraction or a correction on it. If they don't, fuck it. I will sue them.
Oh, no, wait, hold on.
What's that? Chicken Big Mac.
Forget it. Delete this part of the bud.
Okay. Why?
Because it's your fucking dumb email does say that.
No way.
Even more troubling, Twitch previously suspended all Israeli accounts for a year without public acknowledgement or explanation.
Suspended creation. All right, well, never mind then. All right, we'll just trim that part out of the VOD.
Yeah. Thousands of advertisers received that email where these guys openly and knowingly lied to them.
See, this is what you guys don't get. This is what you don't get. You don't play the game. You don't play it strong enough.
Dan Stalkman, he's like admitting to taking out of context clips and just lying over and over again for defamatory purposes.
You're over here like, Dan, do not bring up that he went to a brothel. Yes, it was raided, but in the end, they didn't find enough crimes to shut them down. He has no issues clip shipping me. Okay, he's fine doing it. Why the fuck would I not do it in return?
About a multi-million dollar platform. Again, this was in an attempt to trigger the adpocalypse, something that YouTube content creators like Moist Critical are very intimately familiar with from the time when it took place on YouTube. They hate that sort of thing, or used to hate that sort of thing. They never covered it when the adpocalypse was forcibly triggered, or at least attempted to be forcibly triggered by the likes of Ethan Klein, Sex Pastini, and Dan Saltman. None of them wrote about it. As a matter of fact, when they did cover it, they made it, I feel like the people that did end up covering it actually blamed me for it, because that was their purpose, right? That was their goal. Their goal was Hassan gets favorable coverage from Twitch. He never gets banned. Here, we'll prove it to you. We'll prove it to you by getting advertisers to pull out of Twitch unless they ban Hassan. Here, this is what I tweeted. I said, if you're wondering why these serial defamers never got sued by Ethan Klein, even though Epstein, not iDubbbz, is the one who initially claimed Ethan molested his children and doubled down, it's because Dan Stalkman, the one who realized he lied to thousands of advertisers triggering an apocalypse on Twitch, has been a financial sponsor of Ethan Klein's podcast, redact dev in parentheses. And they all support Israel and cyberstalk and harasses prominent critics online. Dan has openly fielded congresspeople to try and deplatform me for my pro-Palestinian advocacy. Of course, there was never a peep from the YouTube commentary community. They mostly supported it as terrorism support.
What would you like to talk about? You want to talk about the mission?
What's your progress going forward with Twitch?
I have congressional meetings set up. Okay? That's like with more than one dude. Republicans, obviously.
Bro loves to spill tea. Dog, someone has to be a adult and actually accurately reflect on the events that have taken place in this sphere of influence that we are unfortunately a part of, because the reality of the matter is a lot of the loudest voices are unbelievably reactionary, and therefore the most dominant attitude in this sphere is always going to reflect that perspective. I'm basically like one of the only large content creators who actually is offering additional context to why these things are unfolding, because all of the top content creators on YouTube don't want to touch to the 10-foot pole, partially because Israel, like the issue of Israel-Palestine is a part of it, and they don't want to say anything about it because they're terrified of being called anti-Semitic, because all of their sponsorships will be revoked. There is still that element. And then on top of that, they're genuinely worried, I think, about litigation, because Ethan has shown that he is unbelievably litigious. Or even if there is no litigation, they're worried about getting cyberstalked and harassed by some of these vicious communities. These communities are unbelievably vicious. Ethan constantly cries about snark. Meanwhile, he is the #1 snarker. I mean, Reddit. He went to Reddit and literally tried to get these communities taken down, these anonymous subreddits taken down, right? And Reddit straight up told him to his face, like, dog, your community is snark.
You know how compromised Reddit is? I haven't said this before. It's so infuriating. We got a hold of someone at Reddit a few weeks ago, after everything was like peak, like max crazy. And we told them about all the snark stuff. It was a comms person, and they got back to us and they said, well, you guys are harassing people also. You're harassing people and they're harassing people, so I don't see the difference between your community and their community. So, I mean, mind-blowing shit, dude. What a disgusting group of people that work there. Oh my God.
Your community. We'll take down those communities, but your community is also snark. Should we take down your community as well? Because that's precisely what it is. He uses his community as a mass harassment cyber stalking operation. Dude, when I was in New Jersey, in Princeton, New Jersey, to promote and support Adam Hamawi, who is going to be the next congressperson from New Jersey 12. He won. When we did that rally that morning, at the hotel I was staying at, there was a wonderful and kind person that came up to me and was like, oh my God, I'm such a huge fan. I was like, wow, great. She was working the coffee shop. She told me that she used to watch all the time She watched Leftovers, was a big fan. I didn't think much of it. And then later I found out she was posting in the subreddit being like, Hassan has showed up at my place of work. I'm freaking out right now. So even in the real world, when these people are kind to your face, like on the internet, when they go to Ethan's community, they're like, oh, what can I do? What kind of trickery could I engage in? It's like so shocking. It's kind of alarming to see that switch up, really. And she was such a wonderful person too. It actually shook me a little bit, that code switch.
File. Is that funny? I don't know. Is that a joke? Is that free speech? I don't think so. Then the other thing I hear is like, this is a grave threat against free speech. No, it's not. Defamation laws exist in every major Western country, because you can't just say people molested their children. That's not free speech. That's not protected speech.
And good
It's not. It's not. It's defamation.
thing iDubbbz didn't. That would be the comment that was left by someone else. So if that is the big problem that this was said in the first place,
Yeah. The problem is it's not iDubbbz that made the defamatory statement.
then wouldn't that energy be channeled at the person who actually said it? That doesn't make sense, man. So it was a joke when he wrote the comment, but it's not a joke when iDubbbz is trying to use it to shittily make a point.
I can't believe this is what I spent the last hour going through as we are about to head over to the DSA New York City Slate rally, where I will be speaking and delivering a speech to this nation's young revolutionaries that are going to personally change the American trajectory in a positive manner. Why are you crying? What can I do but cry?